Now I'm going to make a video about how I broke away permanently from a narcissist. Uh, I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, that breaking away from a narcissist is one of the most difficult thing per se you will ever face in your entire life. So do not blame people when you see them hopping in and out of narcissistic relationships. They are hovered, then they're discarded, then they're hovered. Then you're sometimes blaming them. You think that something wrong with them, or you're blaming them a lot of things. So do not be patient with those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Be patient with these victims of abuse. Personally, I told you guys in my videos is that I was hovered. I was hovered once. So I woke up. I got my awakening on the second. So I was hovered once, and then when I went back in there, that's when I received my spiritual awakening, and that's when I actually permanently broke the codes with the narcissist. But this journey took me almost 4 years. I was usually doing two things because I'd already premeditated that this entanglement wasn't going anywhere. So it was very painful to bear. There was kids involved, a lot of hardships, a lot of trauma involved in that relationship. So I knew that at some point in time, it is going to end. So I used to ask God, please show me which ways can I break away from this particular individual. I really need to break away and I need to leave this relationship. It was very, very toxic to bear. So the first thing what I did was pray. I prayed, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I would have to travel to a different city just to go and attend prayers. And I think I did that thing twice. My only prayers I was praying in that time was only two. I asked God, if this relationship is for me, then find a way, show me the way to make it work. But if it's not for me, find a way for me to break away. Those were the two prayers I used to pray. I asked God, show me the way. If this relationship, this entanglement is for me, show me the way to make it work, that it can be better, because I knew it was already toxic enough. And the second thing I asked God, that if it is not for me, then create the path for me to live. So I used to continue those prayers every now and then during that entanglement. I used to do that prayer every now and then, here and there, you know what I mean? But also there's a second thing I did. The second thing I did, even before I knew anything about spirituality and the law of attraction and everything. So what I used to do, I used to envision myself living in my own place, very comfortable, happy with my life, contented with my life, probably have a new job, doing my own stuff. And I was really putting my intention to that feeling. Because remember that normally when you're with a narcissist and you're hurting, you're in pain, you're going through pain, so many things are happening, you know what I mean? You do not know where to start. And it's like, you don't even know what to do with yourself. Everything you do is not working. You try something else, it doesn't work. You try that one, it doesn't work. You try that one, doesn't work. So I used to envision myself how life would feel personally when I'm living by myself, making my own decisions, having to go out and come back home, and I don't have to deal with the crap. Coming back home to a peaceful place, nobody's going to make noise, nobody's going to throw plates around the house, nobody's going to scream, nobody's going to abuse, nobody's going to manipulate, nobody's going to gaslight. That is the thing I used to do. Envision myself permanently out of that vicinity and living somewhere else by myself. So whenever I was doing this, so I would like put it in my mind and I would really meditate on that. You know what I mean? I would see myself in this beautiful place, very comfortable with life, very happy, very, like fully healed, doing my own stuff, moving my own way. That's why I used to do it. So I used to do this thing every now and then. Of course, these things I used to do them when the narcissist wasn't watching. So I made sure that actually I was doing this thing secretly. So I made sure that whatever I was doing in that time, the narcissist wasn't around. So I would do this thing by myself on my own. So the narcissist didn't even know these things, what I was doing. And so what happens, later on, so because I didn't know, me personally, like I've told you guys in my videos, the discard took me by surprise. So I did not expect that. But somewhere along the discard, down the road after the discard, I remembered my prayer. I said that, God, is this the thing that you're trying to show me? Because I've been asking you so many times that I want to leave this relationship. I did not know how to do it because I was very, very deeply trauma bonded in that relationship. Very, very toxic entanglement. So I was asking God, actually, can you confirm if the time has come? Because if the time has come, give me a sign so that I will know. You know what I mean? So of course, eventually in those days, like you guys have told you before in my videos, that is when the Hoover started coming in. So I wasn't yet fully aware of so many different things. So the Hoover came in, and the narcissist hoovered me back into the relationship. So when I went back, I think probably God did this on purpose. So that's why I've been telling you guys in my videos that usually this thing is a divine intervention. The awakening from a narcissist is a divine intervention. So I think God hadn't yet given me the closure that I needed because I was very, very desperate for closure in that time. I wanted to know what is going on, what is happening, why are all these things happening, what is I just needed some even at least one bit of an answer, and I couldn't get these answers from the narcissist. So I think God had to bring me back into that relationship so that I can actually confirm this real individual what I'd always been dealing with. So this was a divine intervention. God was like, okay, no, you need to go back there first. Go back there and get a confirmation. So I went back there for the Hoover, and in about, I think it took about 2 months maximum. That's when I got the spiritual awakening. That's when I snapped. I found out that this person was a narcissist, and that's when actually I started breaking and cutting out of the codes. So I broke the codes during that spiritual awakening, and that's when I was able to extract myself out of the relationship. This time I was the one who even packed my own bags, and I left with goodwill. I left with my personal will from the deep inside within my heart. I knew that, okay, so this is time. I've got the confirmation that I needed. I've got the answer that I needed. The only closure that I needed was to confirm that the person that I was dealing with is a narcissist. So at least I got a word for that. You know what I mean? So I got a word for that. I didn't know the details, all the details, but I got a word for that. So I started educating myself later on when I left this entanglement. Now, some people live differently. So anybody out there who is in a relationship like that, those toxic relationships, the narcissist, you might have another way that God is going to reveal to you that you might have to live. You know what I mean? But whichever way it is, do not forget two things. I'll give you two tips that you need to do. Number one, pray. Do not worry about a damn thing. Do not worry who is shouting at you, who is pushing you. Your mothers are going to come to you. Your sisters are going to beg you. Your aunties are going to beg you. Leave that woman, leave that man. You're not going to leave that person until God has made a decision and has actually created a path for you to leave those individuals. So pray very hard and be very clear with those prayers. What exactly do you want God to do for you? That's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do, you're going to apply the law of attraction. Me, like I've said, I did it even without knowing what was the law of attraction in that time. Try to envision yourself out of that vicinity. You're out there, you're with your kids. The narcissist is not around. Maybe they're in a different town, you're in a different city, you have a new job, you have maybe a new relationship, you have a new pet, you have a new home. Things are going well for you. Those are the things you should always, on a constant basis, put in your mind and program them in your mind. Don't worry about the current circumstance. It may actually fool you. That is never going to happen. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, almost 5-6 years ago, I did not know that I'll be here today, doing what I'm doing at this moment. But I did these things many years ago. So envision yourself in a good environment without toxicity. Very beautiful people, your family, your friends, your nice family dinners and everything, your children, your pets, your new jobs and everything, maybe your new ride or things like that. Envision yourself the real life that you want to live. Put it in your mind and register that in your mind on a daily basis and keep on registering it in your mind and thinking about it over and over again. Put it in your mind and actually create that scenario in your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, one day you're going to look back and you're going to see that the things that you thought about so many years ago, they're actually happening at a certain point in time. You know what I mean? So let me know in the comment section below which way you have used to leave a narcissist. How did you leave a narcissist finally? How did things end up with you? Because a lot of guys who leave narcissists, sometimes it's a very chaotic scenario. A lot of plates are being thrown all over the house. Windows are getting broken, cars are getting smashed. Even sometimes they can burn the house down. They can put the house on fire. You know what I mean? And touch the whole house on put the house on fire. Things like that. So sometimes it has been very um, dramatic experiences when you're living in narcissist. But for me personally, I cannot tell you that it was a dramatic experience. For me, it was just due to my awakening. But the awakening happened by some form of divine intervention, whereby God actually came in and opened my eyes and showed me the person that I was dealing with. So I knew that it was time to go. So let us know what you think about this video, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section below. Drop us a comment, like the video, share and subscribe. And until then, guys, I'll catch you in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.